So did you know that a real estate purchase agreement is just not needless paperwork? It's really a roadmap that protects both buyers and sellers. This is Jason Valentine with Coldwell Banker High Desert Realty, and let's talk about something every buyer and seller should really understand. That's the purchase agreement. A lot of people look at the purchase agreement as paperwork, and there's pages to sign and boxes to check and legal language to get through so they can move on to the exciting part, but that's really the wrong way to look at it. The purchase agreement is really a roadmap to the transaction. It helps define what each side is agreeing to, what deadlines are, what happens next, and how certain problems can be handled if they come up. And this is important because a good purchase agreement protects both the buyer and the seller. For the buyer, the agreement helps define things like what is the purchase price, what types of financing are we using, earnest money, inspections, title review and closing date, and what items are needed to get included in the sale and what items are going to be excluded from the sale. And that matters because buyers need clarity. They need to know what they are buying. They need to know what inspections they can get. They need to know what happens if an appraisal comes in low, how is financing handled, when are they expecting to close, and what deadlines are they responsible to meet. And without that structure, buyers are just guessing. But the seller also needs some protection, and the seller needs to know that the buyer is serious. The seller needs to know how much earnest money is being offered in case there's damages done to them throughout the transaction. The seller needs to know what types of financing the buyer is going to be using, and also probably wants to know how long they have to get inspections done, when is the appraisal, and what might need to be resolved getting to that point. And the seller also would like to know when the transaction is supposed to close as well. And so the seller is making a decision when they accept this offer of what's in the purchase agreement. They might be moving, they might be buying another home, they're making financial plans, or they might be taking the property off the market or turning away other potential buyers once it goes under contract. So the seller needs a clear agreement as well. And that's why the purchase agreement is just not a buyer document, and it's not just a seller document. It's the structure that keeps the transaction moving forward. Now, does a purchase agreement eliminate every single problem? Not even close. Inspections can still uncover issues, and appraisals can still come in low, and title issues can still appear, and deadlines might still become very, very important. But the agreement gives us the rules on how those issues are handled. And that is the value of having the written purchase agreement in hand. It should not run on, I thought you meant this, or I assume that was included, or I didn't realize that deadline mattered. It should run on really clear terms and timelines and clearly set expectations that both parties have agreed to. And this is why representation matters. A good agent is going to help explain the agreement before you sign it. If you are a buyer, you should understand what protections you have and what obligations you're taking on. And if you're a seller, you should understand what the buyer is asking and what you are agreeing to. And nobody should be signing a purchase agreement without good understanding of what the major terms are in it. And that's where the bigger point is. Clarity reduces stress. When people understand the process, they make better decisions. Buyers feel more confident, sellers feel better prepared, negotiations are way more productive, problems are easier to manage, and everyone has a better chance of getting to the closing table. So the next time you hear somebody say it's just paperwork, remember this: the purchase agreement is not just paperwork, it is a roadmap to the transaction. It protects the buyer, it protects the seller, and it gives the transaction structure so that way it can move forward from offer to closing so everybody's happy. Now, if you have questions about what's going on in the real estate market, or you want to learn more about a purchase agreement, give me a call. This is Jason Valentine with Coldwell Banker High Desert Realty. You can call me on my cell phone, 575-496-1068, on the office phone, 505-863-4363, or there's a link in the description on this video. You can book a time with me and we can converse. Anyway, don't be intimidated about the purchase agreement. It really is just a guideline for everybody to follow, and it's a great tool as we're going through these real estate transactions. Wishing you the very best, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.